So I'm out here at one of my rental properties. This particular property is an 8-unit building. One of my tenants just vacated, so I'm out here for the first time, gonna walk the vacant unit, figure out exactly what renovations need to be done to the unit in order to get it listed for rent on the market, and then find a tenant and get this thing leased up and cash flowing again. This particular unit, it was rented below market. The tenant had been there a while, so we're actually gonna be able to get a lot more in rent than we were previously receiving. With that increased rent, what does that actually do to the value of my building? So we're gonna get into that, and I'll show you a calculation that you can use to where you can run these numbers on your own. So let's get into it. So we're heading over the unit now. I don't know if you remember this building or not, but I did another video on it. This project, or this building's actually been a little bit of a pain in our butts. We had a flood and we were trying to figure out water issues and where it was coming from in a previous video. Now, this is the unit that we're gonna go into. So the one right next door has vacated. But like I said, this has just been a little bit of a headache of a building, but we're getting through it here. So let's get in here and take a look. Okay, cruising in here. I don't know what to expect. Knock, knock. They didn't leave a lot of stuff behind, so that is a good thing. These are all 1-bedroom, 1-bath units. Carpet straight out of the 70s, as you can see. Same with the cabinets. I mean, original from when it was built. I mean, honestly, for how long this tenant was here, I was expecting to walk into something a lot worse. So to give you my initial reaction on this place, like, it's actually not as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. I've been into a lot of units where when the tenants leave that have been here this long, like, I can barely walk into them because it stinks so bad. This one is actually fairly clean, but it's just obviously very dated. Like, take a look at the bathroom. I mean, again, vanity, super dated, dated flooring, old tub, shower, but again, it's not in terrible shape from my experiences, from what I've seen. Obviously, we're dealing with brown, nasty carpet from the 70s. We have the heat source are these old baseboard heat, which we'll obviously want to change that out. That, I don't know if you can see in the video, but there's literally like heat marks on the sheetrock there. So that could be a fire hazard. We'll want to probably just replace all the baseboards and swap them out for just a new up-to-date cadet heater. Tiny kitchen, cabs are original, countertops look original. Looks like we've replaced a range or at some point. It's not the worst shape. So given that it's so clean, I'll need to put some pencil to paper real quick and see what makes sense. Do we want to salvage some cabinets and try to just put some new countertops and appliances in here? What do we want to do with the bathrooms? Flooring and paint is an obvious one. You know, we could do new flooring throughout, new paint. It gives it a fresh look, and it's obviously been lived in for a while. So that's always a must, but I'm gonna put some pencil to paper on what to do about the kitchens and bathrooms. So a couple things to note about these cabinets. They look good from afar, but when you get up close, they're actually far from good. You can see just like the water damage that has taken place over the years, and they're actually starting to swell. After I took a closer look, they're not as in good a shape as I was thinking. These are actually starting to swell out due to absorbing water over the years. So that's one thing. We got a missing drawer here, although it looks like the drawer's up here. It looks like it's broken. I mean, sure, you could probably piece back together if you wanted to. And then let's take a closer look at the bathroom. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing here. As you can see, it's starting to swell in different areas. This door is kind of hanging down off the hinge a bit. And then this shower, again, I originally said, hey, it's in decent shape. It is, and you could limp this rental along with saving all this, but it's just pretty cheaply done. It's not even a real shower surround. As you can see, it's like some sort of thing that's like just pasted on the wall. Don't worry, I'll sanitize my hands after this. But it's a little cheesy. I just noticed this too. There's something that took place up here. I'm assuming bathroom was leaking at some point and there was some sheetrock damage here that took place. But all of that's gonna need to be addressed if we want to get top of market rents on this thing. After I'm looking at it a little closer and going through everything with a fine tooth comb, I'm thinking we probably just need to full go this thing and do all new casework, basically gut the whole kitchen and bathrooms, especially if we're wanting to get top of market rents. So Just to give you an idea, this thing had been rented for a while. It was rented at $800 a month, and market is more like $1,200 a month. Again, if we do this thing right, we just fix it up nice, we should be able to get $1,200 a month. Obviously, that's a $400 increase monthly, which is $4,800 a year. So, and again, I mean, this kitchen, as you can see, is so small. Like, doing all new casework and redoing this kitchen is really not gonna cost us that much. And we might as well take advantage of the opportunity that we have now, being that we have the unit vacant. We can get our guys in here, knock this out quick, then get it back on the market at a nice number, or at least at full market rent. So I'm budgeting for a full go on this place, which I'm talking new kitchen, new bathroom. It's basically a full gut. We're doing all new flooring throughout. It'll be an LVP that runs throughout the entire unit. It's a small unit. I mean, I don't know exactly the square footage, but 1 bed, 1 bath. We're probably, I don't know, 500 square feet, 600 square feet maybe. So we're gonna be doing new plugs and switches throughout because those are old. We'll be doing new lighting and then doors and trim as well. I mean, we'll just, again, full go this thing. I think we should be able to get this done for around 25 grand. That should be our renovation budget, is 25,000. So where does that leave us? So I told you in the beginning of the video I was gonna get in some numbers, and what does that $25,000 investment actually do to the end value of our building? So like I mentioned, we'll be turning this unit. It's gonna cost us 25,000. In turn for that, we'll be getting a higher rent number. So like I said, we'll be going from $800 to $1,200, extra $400 a month, extra $4,800 a year. So now let me back into the calculation of how you can calculate what the overall value of the building, how that will increase. So in order to calculate what that's gonna do to the value of our building, you need to use what's called a cap rate, or a capitalization rate. If you don't know what that is, drop me a comment in the video and I can do a full video on that going into detail. But basically, a cap rate is going to give you your return on the building. So once you get into multifamily investing, I usually say, hey, anything over 4 units usually trades off of a cap rate. What the buyer, if they're buying the property, is gonna get in return for the capital that he lays out. So you basically need to know what cap rate things are trading for in the area. So if a similar building, a few blocks away, traded at a 7% cap rate, and it was like of like, similar to your building, similar rents, similar repairs needed or no repairs needed, that would be a good comp that you would use. And you could say, hey, okay, things like our building seem to be trading at around a 7% cap rate. So here's how you would back into that with the repairs that we're about to be doing, thus giving us a higher rent amount each month. So like I mentioned, this turn is gonna cost us $25,000. With that, we're gonna receive additional rents each month. That's gonna equate to the amount of $4,800 a year in increased rent. Now, if we take that $4,800 and we divide that by the going cap rate in the area of 7%, this is gonna give us a $68,000 number. That is the dollar amount that our building will go up in value by due to the renovations we're about to do and due to the increase in rents. I hope that makes sense. The more income a property produces, the more it's worth to the end investors, thus running it off of a cap rate. I hope that makes sense. You might be wondering, okay, hey, the cabinetry, the kitchens and baths aren't in terrible shape. Why not just try to essentially like fluff and buff this rental, keeping the kitchens, keeping the baths, just worry about flooring and paint? Well, you certainly could. You might be able to limp it along that way. Maybe you spend 7 grand versus like 25 grand that I'm talking about here, but in turn, you're probably gonna receive less rents. So maybe instead of getting top of market at $1,200, you're only getting like $950 or $1,000 in monthly rents. Let's just pencil that out. So the difference of $7,000 in renovations versus $25,000, let's say that the $25,000 option brings us an extra $200 a month, right? So previously what we ran was an additional $4,800 a year grants us basically a $68,000 increase in value on the building. If we just simply cut that in half because, hey, we were getting a $400 increase in rent, now we're only getting basically a $200 increase in rent, well, just take that $68,000 number and cut it in half. So what is that? Basically a $34,000 increase in value versus a $68,000 increase in value due to the differential of a $7,000 renovation versus a $25,000 renovation. So what is the difference there? That is $18,000. Yeah, an extra $18,000 investment gets you an additional $34,000 in overall value of the building. To me, it's a no-brainer, which is why we're gonna go ahead and just do the full go while we have the opportunity so we can get that building value up. So when we bought this building, we knew this was a value add opportunity here. Again, this building was in need of renovations pretty much across the board, and rents were fairly low. But again, the calculation we just ran of getting a $68,000 lift on your building value due to one rental turn or increase in rents, imagine doing that across 8 units. Well, you can actually really start to build some serious equity through this strategy. Again, I just call it the value add strategy or value add investing, it's kind of like flipping houses, but on a bigger scale, right? Instead of flipping houses, we're flipping units. Then we're creating equity for ourselves for the long-term investments. Guys, I take you out into the field every single week, show you different projects I have going, whether that's a house flip or an 8-unit building investment, try to teach you some things along the way. Hopefully today was helpful and you learned some things about cap rate and how to back into what your rent increases are actually gonna do for your overall value. So if you like today's video, drop me a comment, hit me with a like, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, see ya.